I'm a senior citizen now. I had my fun in the years. When I was a young woman, yeah, I knew about the Lord. And I had so much fun living in sin. I've been to bars, I've been to clubs, I've been to parties, I've been in and out of jail, I've been to rehab centers. I've had so many abortions, I can't even count them all on one hand. And a lot of those abortions are the result of messing with the married man. I don't know how much fun I had living in the devil's territory. Oh man, I've been to every club you can think of, and I knew all about the Lord. People have offered me the opportunity to get close to God when I was a very young woman. Ah, but the pleasures of sin, the pleasures of sin. I remember I was 18, 20, 21, 35, 40, and I had so much fun in the playground of sin. Well, now that I'm old, and I don't look like I used to, and I don't have the energy that I used to have, I gave all of my energy to the devil, all of my good energy. Well, thank goodness God is God of mercy, because I hope He can still use what's left of me in my old age. But you know what? I really wish I could have came to follow God when I was a younger woman. Because now that I'm old and worn out, the devil doesn't want me anymore. Thank goodness for God's goodness. Thank goodness for His grace. Because hopefully He can still use what's left of me. Well, which brings me to the point, you guys. You know, it's not unusual for me to put on a show before I start some of my sermons. The Bible says, remember the Creator in the days of your youth. I understand not everybody is going to get close to God when they're young. I knew about God. I wish I would have come to God when I was younger, even though I was in my early 20s when I did. I learned a lot about the Word throughout the years. But you know what? My point here is, when you hear about God when you're a young woman or a young man, and then you be like, oh, maybe some other time. Right now, I'm having so much fun living the sinful lifestyle, fornicating, lying, stealing, and having all kind of fun in the devil's territory. But you know what? When you start getting old, just like Hollywood, when you start getting old in the Hollywood industry, Hollywood starts looking for new faces. When you start getting old, in some cases, not all, but in some cases, or even a lot of cases, when you start getting old, the devil, I believe, don't want you no more. He wants fresh, new, young blood. When the devil has used up all of your young years, he's going to try to give God something He don't want no more. You don't want something somebody else doesn't want. And you know what? But thank goodness for God's grace, because He'll still save you. He'll still use at least what's left of you. Because when the devil used you, when you were a young person and you living in sin, and the devil has gotten everything he wanted out of you and squeezed out that last bit of goodness in you, and then you start to age and you don't look like you used to, and you're not as strong as you used to, and you don't have all that youthfulness in you that you used to have, I believe He don't want you no more. And He kick you to the curb, because He's going to want a nice, fresh, young woman, fresh out of high school. Yeah, I believe that anyway. Just like Hollywood. Hollywood starts looking for new faces. And when you have been a part of Hollywood, and Hollywood have gotten all that they want out of you, and then you get to the point where you start looking old and worn out from whatever reason, Hollywood start looking for new faces. They get to the point where they start bringing in your competition, because they're about to tell you about to get up out of here. The devil, I believe, works the same way. When you're young, the devil gets all he can out of you, and then when you start getting old and you're not like you used to be, I believe he doesn't want you anymore. And then he's like, you know what? You an old person. You're not like you used to be. You don't look like you used to. I don't want you no more. I want a nice young woman. I want a nice young man. I want kids. And he was like, huh, if God still wants you, he can have you because I don't want you no more. Well, thank goodness you can still go to God. But you know what? If you know about God when you're young and then you put it off until you're old, just because you're older, that does not mean that you can have it easier. When you're young and you have all this good energy, and then you use all that good, wonderful energy for the glory of God instead of in the sinful ways of Satan, and you use all that good energy for God, by the time you're older, look where you can be. But when you hear about God, know about God when you're younger, and then you just neglect it and say, oh, I'll follow God when I'm older. And then years pass by and you don't look as good as you used to because you're worn out from sin. And the devil has just played you to the fullest and you totally worn out. And then you be like, oh, now I'm older. I guess I'll get a Bible and then I'll start going to church every Sunday. And then you see people that they went to God when they were younger, and now today they are doing really, really, really extremely wonderful because they followed God when they were younger. And then you're older and you look at them and you wonder what could have been had you come to God when you had the opportunity when you were younger. And then you're like, oh, but just because, and then that young person, they have given God all their young years. And now that they're older, everything is just so wonderful to them. They don't even look old. And because you're older, that doesn't mean that you can have it easier. You're going to get in out of the word of God what you put into it. And if you're not able to put much into it because you're old and worn out, I reckon you're not going to be able to get much out of it. Because you're older, you can't have it easier. Let's say, for example, you see a young person and they're into God and they're putting a whole lot of activity into the things of God. And then they're reaping the benefits of it. They're getting the rewards of it. If you want that same thing, even in your old age, you're going to have to do exactly what they're doing. Because you're older, you can't have it easier. There's no senior citizen discount to have it your way. It's no senior citizen easy way. If you want what they have, you're going to have to do what they've done even in your old age. You cannot have it easier because you're older. But you know what? When you wait until you get old to get right with God, although you heard about him when you were younger, there's a price to pay for it. But you know what? Someone might say, well, I'm older. I can't really hold the Bible without getting arthritis. Well, I don't know what to tell you because you had a whole lot of energy holding the things that the devil wanted you to hold. You don't have that good energy no more. You gave all of your good years to the devil. Now that you're old and you can't do those wonderful, you don't have all that strength and energy anymore because you gave it all to the devil. And now that you're older, what's left? Well, I'm old. I'm on my way to retirement home. I don't look like I used to. I used to look like a movie star, but not anymore. But you gave all those young years to the devil, doing whatever. Not picking on anyone. We know who we are. Let's say, for example, you're a young person and you always at the bar. You've been in and out of jail. You've been in and out of rehab centers. And I'm like, well, I'm only 25. Next you know, you're 35, 45, 55, 60. And you be like, oh, God. I don't turn heads anymore. I got to go to the doctor and get my prescription filled. Oh, I guess I'll start going to church every Sunday and settle down and get to know the Lord. Well, it would be wise to do that because you're still breathing. As long as you're in the land of the living, you have a chance to be saved. But what I'm trying to say is, when you know about God when you're younger, and then you wait until you get old to follow him, you know, it's to me, there's a price to pay for it. Because now you have to do more work. Because it's like, even though you're older, you have to do more work. If you want, like if you see an 18-year-old girl, and then you're, 60, and you see this 18-year-old girl into God, and she's doing all kind of wonderful things. She's already owned her own home, and she's already 18, so she's doing these wonderful things for God. And you're renting a small, room or some small place, and you don't even pay that much for it. And then you think this young girl is 18 and she's already bought her first home. and you say, man, I wish I could be a homeowner at 18. And then you be like, but this 18-year-old child, 19, 21-year-old child has put a lot of activity in for the Lord just at your young age. If you want what they have, you're gonna have to do what they do. And that's going to be not so easy when you are approaching senior citizen status. But you cannot have it easier because you're older. If you want what they have, you're going to have to do what they've done even in your old age. And if you say, well, I don't have the energy to do that, well, but then you're not going to be able to get that, because you're only going to get out of it what you put into it, even in your old age. Yeah, some people, they want preachers to tell them what they want to hear. Valerie, tickle my ears. Tell me what I want to hear. Nuh-uh. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. And you know what? Some people might say, well, if you're not going to tell me what I want to hear, then I'm going to stop watching Val's Appetizer and Snack sermons. It don't cost me nothing to run Val's Appetizer and Snack sermons. All I have to do is make sure the Wi-Fi stays on, and the Lord provides that. If about 500 people say, I'm going to stop watching Val's Appetizer and Snack sermons. Oh, well, because I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell it like it is. Some people, they want you to just tell them what they want to hear. I'm not here to do that. And it doesn't cost anything to run Val's Appetizer and Snack sermons. So I'm not going to lose any money because you decide that you want to stop watching Val's Appetizer and Snack sermons, because I won't tell you what you want to hear. When you tell someone what they want to hear, they kind of get uncomfortable about it. You know, and then they go to churches, or they listen to sermons where they're going to tell them what they want to hear. Well, you know what? I want you to tell me, I would really, whether or not it hurt, I would want somebody to tell me how it is. You know, and it's good when someone tells you what you want to hear, but I would really rather you tell me really like it is, so I would know. I may not like it, it may hurt, but it would help more than it would hurt.